Just oh. Should you use match bullets for hunting? In this video, we're going to shed some light on that subject. Gavin here from UltimateReloader.com. I'm back with Travis Fox. Travis, thank you for joining us again.
Hi, Gavin. Thanks for having me.
We are here. This is a great milestone to show you for the very first time ballistics gel testing with our Edgertronic SC2 Plus high-speed camera. We've had the camera for a couple years, and we thought we would use this camera to shed some light on probably one of the most frequently debated topics around hunting that I've seen in this precision rifle class the last few years.
What is that question?
Should you use match bullets for hunting? And we're not going to solve that problem in this video, but we're going to definitely give you some evidence that's going to help you decide, at least for a couple different bullets, what you should go with. So we thought we would start with an apples to apples comparison as much as we could. There's two bullets that are both 6.5 millimeter, and they're so similar that it's hard to tell them apart visually in the reloading room. That's the 140 grain ELD-M match bullet and Hornady's 143 grain ELD-X hunting bullet. Yep. This bullet is awesome. I have had several rifles shoot sub-half MOA with this 143 ELD-X, and I took a black bear down with it. A lot of similar stories from other hunters using 6.5 Creedmoor, using other cartridges in that class. What if we put them head to head with ballistics gel to see how differently they would perform in this context of destroying flesh, of taking down an animal?
We want to thank you to Clear Ballistics for supplying this gel for us. Very nice of them to give us these 4 blocks. Our results were super fun. I was super nervous about this because I've been wanting to do this test for so long, and I wanted it to come out right. I didn't want to have any mistakes or anything happen, and so we were very, very careful on our setup.
Okay, so next, let's talk about the setup. For this testing, we wanted to use a rifle cartridge that is near the top of the list in the hunting category. That is the 6.5 Creedmoor. And this rifle back here, you've seen on the channel since 2015. I recently did a story basically doing some accurizing on it. I got it from about a half MOA gun down to about a quarter MOA gun. This thing shoots really, really nice. We had a target velocity of about 2,700 feet per second, which is kind of a great 140-ish grain bullet velocity. You want to talk a little bit about the loads that you prepared?
We used 41 grains at H4350.
In both cartridges?
In both. They both were the same. And we were within, I believe we were within 35 feet per second velocity, muzzle velocity on these. So it's going to give us very much, as you were talking about, apples to apples comparison. Same gun, same cartridge, same velocity.
Same ballistics gel.
Ballistics gel. Let's see what they do together. And we were able to come up with some great results. Our setup was super important to get everything lined up correctly. We discussed the distance that we were going to test at. We had a bit of discussion on that. I was like, oh, we need to go further. And Gavin said, no, we need to go closer. Then I realized I want to do this correctly. I want to do it right. And I want to be successful. So we did it at a shorter distance.
Right out in front of here, in front of the shop, we set up a ballistics testing laboratory, backwoods style, right? In the dirt.
So I wanted to get the bullet to travel straight through the gel. We did a fair bit of research on YouTube ourselves, watching other videos.
Kentucky Ballistics, shout out to him. He was shooting through like 3 or 4 blocks with his elephant gun. Some good laughs. He was using the same gel, wasn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah, Clear Ballistics. A lot of the guys are using that.
We saw some that the bullets would come out the side. I wanted to make sure they traveled straight down. So we level everything out. We got everything lined up.
Yeah, we were doing line of sight down the block, going back to the muzzle area where we're shooting from.
Measuring, typical Ultimate Reloader over-the-top type studies. We then took a box, shot a box, made sure that the box travel was, so their entry into the box and the exit was level.
And then there's that offset when you're shooting really close. Obviously, you're going to be low, right? Because if you're bore axis.
Yep.
So we got the exact 2 mils exactly offset, so he had to hold up 2 mils. And then, we set up the Edgertronic SC2 Plus, shooting directly from the side. Obviously, with ballistics gel, you're going to want to see the travel of the bullet. Then we put another camera behind that to capture the whole event in real time. Yep. So we had Tyler, our camera guy, was hand holding a camera at the firing line. We had the full normal speed view, and we had the high speed view. Now this Edgertronic SC2 Plus camera is an amazing workhorse. It is capable of capturing 720p HD resolution video at 4,456 frames per second. And through the course of our testing, we've tested a lot of different things: revolvers, rifles, ARs, a little bit of everything with it. We use an audio trigger. So you can actually hit record on there and it'll record for however long. It doesn't record, it only has a limited buffer. But if you use an audio trigger, it uses either the hypersonic crack or the muzzle blast or a combination thereof to start recording. And that recording point is a certain point in time. There's a rolling buffer on the camera, and you have to figure out how much before that you want to capture and how much after. And with different delays and audio effects, we've worked it out pretty well. And that was proven with the box. We saw the splinters of cardboard, and it's like, here we go. Here's $600 worth of ballistics gel. 2 bullets to test, And let's talk a little bit about what we thought was going to happen.
Well, what does everybody say a match bullet's going to do when it impacts a ballistic gel or flesh? They think it's going to fragment and come apart. And so my thought was, the hunting bullet's going to do great. The match bullet's going to hit there, and it's going to just slow way down, and it's going to lose all of its mass. Mm-hmm. Did that happen?
We're going to have to work our way up to that.
Work our way to it. We'll show you.
So why don't we start with the hunting bullet?
Yes.
Okay. Those results next. So the moment came. Everything was completely dialed in. The ammo was known. The rifle was known. The gel was perfectly aligned. We had our offset because of our close distance.
My blood pressure was way high.
A lot of excitement. I armed the audio trigger. I came back to the safe zone, and Travis pulled the trigger. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, dude, save me. Awesome. Yeah.
And the results were?
Well, we were pretty excited because right away when I kind of ran over and I saw, the bullet was captured. We lined up 3 different bricks because we didn't know how far the bullet was going to go. We had 4 total to start with, hoping to use 2 per test. Yep. And so it stopped, as you saw, in the second block and perfectly centered. I mean, the shot could not have been placed better.
Look at
so
that.
let's play back the high speed.
Cool.
That's beauty, man. And we'll kind of just see, this is right off the camera, playing back 100% speed as it plays at that frame rate. And you can see, man, that bullet, it just comes to a stop instantly, but then the gel is just undulating.
There's so much energy in there. It's just thrashing the gel around, and
you can see the black here in the wound channel.
Yeah.
And that was fabric from the cheap moving blanket that got ripped.
Yeah, it was a brand new moving blanket I put down. Just laid the block on there, and the violence of the whole thing it ruptures and breaks apart the blanket, sucks it into the gel.
Yeah. Okay, so and then when we do the side-by-side comparison of the two, we'll show you it at 40 to 50% slowed down from even what you would see at that playback speed. So this is going frame by frame right off the camera. You can see right there we have a lot of action in one frame. We're already into the second block. And that's because we're going 2,700 feet per second. This is no pistol test here. This is some velocity, but look at the size of that cavity.
Yeah, it is. See if can you show them the flash? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. There's the flash.
Then the flash. When we were doing research on this, we were looking at these flashes and what this is coming from. It's blowing the block up, and then when it collapses back down upon itself, those gases that are in there, it causes them to ignite.
It's like a diesel engine. It's compression,
ignition. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So yes, the gel continues to flex and just undulate. undulate in the air. We were looking at this footage like, wow, is that block ever going to come back down?
And the blocks in this footage, the block looks like it's liquid almost, but they're just these rigid, you know, FBI blocks that we have.
Yep.
But the force is just massive.
It's just crazy. Okay, so really interesting results for the 143 ELD-X. Next, let's look at the 140 ELD-M. So we cleaned up the mess from the 143 ELD-X and got the last two blocks set up. Now we had a little bit of a debate. Do we put a third block behind it and potentially spoil what we created during the first test, or do we just trust that the bullet will stop in the second gel block? And we were like, let's go for it. Let's just create this test that's going to be pristine. We don't want to mess up our previous results. Again, I armed the trigger. Travis was on target. Boom, pulled the trigger, and wow, the violence.
Well, we only used 2 blocks on this.
Yeah.
So the 2 blocks take all the energy, and the first test we did had 3 blocks, so that really kind of stabilized it.
Right.
The 2 blocks were there. You'll see what happened here in the video that we
Yeah.
play.
So all right, we go and kaboom. It's a little hard to see in super slow res, but what you see in the full speed, the normal speed video, is the gel block, the first one, just goes flying off the table. Bounces in the dirt, you know.
Yeah.
and here we are, a very similar result. You'll notice the bullet for the 143 ELD-X went about halfway through the second block. We'll have all the numbers at the end of the video here, comparing all of the data. Here, Travis's theory was confirmed.
So look, it did not penetrate as far.
Your theory, we're in like Flynn, dude. We
Well,
can see,
I thought the bullet was I really thought it would fragment more.
but you didn't think it was penetrate as far. So I'm giving you some credit for that.
I did not think it would penetrate as far. I did think it would fragment more, which it didn't do. So I guess I was right in some of it and wrong in others. But
very interesting.
yeah, very interesting result.
Okay, so why don't we next look at the results side by side simultaneously. So here it is, time for the big reveal. Should we do it?
Let's do it.
All right, the physical side by side right here, we've got 143 ELD-X on this side and 140 ELD-M on this side. Let's walk through, what do we see here?
Okay, blocks are set up exactly as we see them here, with shooting this direction. Aiming points were the center of all of the blocks. Bullet drives down in the middle, stops here on the ELD-X, stops here on the ELD-M. There's a 5-inch difference of penetration, more on the X than the M.
And again, we'll go over all of the data at the end of the video, comparing all of the different parameters.
If you look down in the blocks, you can see some of the you can see the polymer tip in some places in here, some bullet fragments. The black pieces are from the moving blanket that got blown apart and sucked into the block in the violence of that action.
The channels look pretty similar. I mean, just looking side by side, and then of course we'll extract the bullets here, but they also look very similar in terms of how they mushroomed. A little bit different debris, you know, the fragments and whatnot. You see a few more pieces of jacket here, it looks like.
We are going to take these out, extract the main portion out, and weigh it to see what kind of mass retention we get.
Before we do that, why don't we take a look at the high-speed footage side by side. Okay, so we've prepared a split screen view. Those flashes are so cool. Now this, in post-production, is slowed down to approximately 40% of the original speed. So we're using optical flow here within a program called Premiere Pro to basically slow things down even further. The last shots that we showed you were essentially straight off the camera. These have been slowed down just a little bit more, and you can see, look at that, frame by frame, very, very similar characteristics so far.
Incredibly similar.
Yeah. And then you can see the ELD-X on the top going further and slowing down a little slower. And then
you're getting the same cavitation size pretty much so.
Yep.
It's they're running the same velocity. They're running right around the same foot-pounds of energy also. They're both right at 2,200 foot-pounds of energy.
Same frame for that secondary explosion thing.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is just crazy. The fact that you can see that so well. And then we can see the reaction, you know, it's going to be kind of similar here. Yeah. Totally interesting stuff. Okay, so why don't we next take a look at the bullets themselves, get them out of the ballistics gel, and we'll see how they compare in terms of diameter and other characteristics.
Let's do it.
Well, that was quite the bullet extraction, I must say. Very precision, very
Pretty
pro.
fun. Yeah, I've done that before.
Yes, tools of the trade, huh?
Yep.
All right, so we've got the bullets, and you were just noting, it's pretty funny. If you look at the ELD-X box and you look at the bullet that we extracted, the picture almost looks exactly like the real bullet.
Yeah, I would say the Hornady engineers and marketing department work together very well. It says on their box 2660, which is, I think we were running about the same thing. We were running 2680, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Their picture looks exactly like our bullet.
So awesome.
Perfect.
Okay, and what we've got here is the A&D FX120i Precision Lab Balance from Cambridge Environmental. They're the people to get these scales from, accurate to 2/100 of a grain. Let's see what kind of weight we've got left.
Okay, the ELD-X starts out with
143.
143 grains.
Yep.
This is what we extract out of the gel. There are fragments left, but
104.24.
104.2.
Okay.
Interesting. And
ELD-M.
the M.
Magic
See what we
moment.
got here.
This was a 140, and we're now at 97.92. Okay, here's what I say we do. Let's go measure the diameters. We're going to input and calculate weight retention, and we're going to be back to share all of the scientific figures with you in just a moment. So we're back. We've run all the numbers in the spreadsheet program. Here's
Your
what I
favorite part.
Oh yeah, I just can't
Data
help
nerd.
myself. Here's what we want to do. We want to give you the numbers, and then we'll give you kind of our impressions, and then we have a couple of questions to ask you all. Okay, so muzzle velocity, 2638 for the 143 ELD-X, 2645 for the 140 ELD-M. That's 99.74% that 143 had over the 140. That's less than a % difference.
Yeah,
nice job.
Pretty even. We got those running the same speed. So then we step down to the penetration distance, and then we get a little gap going here.
Yep. How far it went into the ballistic gel total?
The 143 ELD-X, 24.5 inches here. Mm-hmm. The M, 19.5 inches. So 5.5 inch difference, which is a 25% further penetration by the X.
That surprised me a little bit. I was just thinking of it very simplistically. A match bullet isn't intended to expand, so I thought, it'll just go further. I didn't think about the fact that it's inherently going to fall apart more readily, which we'll get to when we talk about the jacket thickness.
Yep.
Expanded diameter, 0.541 inches average for the 143 ELD-X. We took a small dimension and a large dimension, kind of averaged the two, and 0.579 inches for the 143 ELD-M. So the 143 ELD-M had a larger diameter compared to the 143 ELD-X, but only by 6.65%. So not that much different. Almost equivalent.
Possibly because of our next piece, the jacket thickness.
Mm-hmm.
We took the bullets, put them in the vise, cross-sectioned them. Gavin took his Mitutoyo calipers and his practiced eye, measured the jacket thickness. The X was 0.037. The M was 0.023, which is a 60% difference increase on the X.
That surprised me a little bit.
I think maybe that's why you got the bigger spread on the M, is because there's not as much jacket there to hold it together. Maybe.
It's an interesting set of trade-offs, and definitely for us, just a total learning experience. This is the first time we've gone through this, and we're just totally learning every step of the way. Yeah, the starting weight was obviously 143 for the ELD-X and 140 for the ELD-M. So the 143 is about 2.14% more weight. Final weight was 104.24 for the ELD-X and 97.92 for the ELD-M, which was 6% more for the ELD-X. So, but what you really want to look at here is the percentage weight retention. That's really the only number that you can compare apples to apples, since the bullets weigh different weights to start with. We had 72.9% weight retention on the ELD-X and 69.94% on the ELD-M, which I think is consistent with what you were proposing or hypothesizing at the beginning, which is that you'd have a little bit more fragmentation, more loss. So,
but we didn't get as much as I thought we would.
Yeah, what did you think we were going to get?
You know, for the first time doing this, I'm not really sure what we thought we would get, but I did think it was going to be a much greater difference. I feel like I was wrong, and that's okay. We learned.
Okay, so having looked at all the numbers, having looked at the ballistics gel, having reviewed the high-speed footage, what is your conclusion? At the beginning of this video, we asked people, should you hunt with a match bullet? And what do you think based on these two bullets?
That's a loaded question.
Nice.
It depends. It depends on a lot of things for me. It would depend on where I'm hunting, what I'm hunting, the caliber. If I was to take the 6.5 caliber myself, I would hunt a deer with either one of these, a black bear with either one of these.
Yeah.
If I was to shoot an elk with one of these, I think I would rather have the X myself. Just my thoughts. You guys make your own decisions. But
my conclusion is a little bit more simple. These bullets are both very accurate.
yes,
This one is sub half MOA for me in the right rifle with the right loads. So I'm going with the 143 ELD-X. Now, if this is the bullet that I had and you ask me, hey, would it be ethical to hunt with this bullet? Based on our data, for me personally, I would say, I think so.
yeah,
But this is a special case. These bullets are almost the same.
so close.
Tweaked for hunting versus match. So one of the things I think will be interesting to do would be to look at Hornady's A-tip, for instance, and compare that to GMX.
Exactly.
You know,
yes,
two non-tipped. Well, one's aluminum tipped. They're not polymer tipped.
right.
They're different designs, and one is a hunting bullet and one isn't. Yeah, there's obviously an endless amount of data and an endless amount of testing that we could gather and do.
Yes, and other manufacturers.
Sure.
And we're going to get different results. I guarantee it.
Definitely. Okay, so we have two questions for you. The first question is the question we asked at the beginning of the video. Would you hunt? Do you think you should hunt with match bullets? Tell us if you would, and tell us why. And second is, we got the ballistics gel, we got the high-speed camera. Okay, what should we do next? What kind of ballistic experiments would you want to see explored? Pistol, rifle, it doesn't matter. Let us know what you want to see and what you think would be cool, and we'll see if we can pull that off.
Yep.
Thank you, Travis, for putting
Kevin.
this together. This was a lot of work. I am super excited about this capability and the content that we're going to produce with these awesome tools. Thank you very much for watching. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. Look, dude. Look. Centered up. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, make your voice heard. If you have something to say, please drop a comment. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications because you're not going to want to miss the awesome content that is coming up. And finally, flex your reloading pride. You could look great in one of these t-shirts. We've got multiple designs at the Ultimate Reloader store. I'll see you later because I'm off to go shooting.